All right, welcome back to What She Says Sports. This Shanola girl checking in. Y'all ready? All right. So happy weekend, everybody. Hope y'all having a good day. Y'all know I'm on vacation. It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. But I'm keeping up. I'm keeping up. I appreciate y'all for holding it down. 20 million plus fans and counting. We got some things to talk about tonight because see, some people try to play in your face, and I thought they knew some of these people that interviewed Shedeur and Shiloh. I really thought they knew these people, right? I thought they was cool, respected them, etc. But people really try to play you, right? And it could be that maybe they're just willfully ignorant, or they just don't know. Maybe they're just truly ignorant. I don't know. But the definition of a cult is not positive. And an interviewer, a podcaster, referred to Shedeur Sanders' fan base as a cult. And, and I'm like, in what world? He didn't just say Shedeur Sanders fan base. He said, the Sanders family, Shedeur, y'all have a cult. I'm like, are you serious right now? Do you not understand the definition of cult? And they read off what they thought was the definition of a cult. And that's not the definition of a cult. CULT has a negative connotation for people. He even used the term worship, and we don't worship anybody. So when a black quarterback has a large fan base, get this straight, it's a cult. It's negative. Like, we're being manipulated. We can't just follow this young man or support this young man and his father because of greatness. We have to be out of our minds manipulated. A cult. This is exactly what was said to Shedeur tonight. We're going to talk about this. And I appreciate Shedeur with the pushback, standing up for his fan base. And I'm part of that fan base. And I'm sitting here with a CD Lamb jersey on and a Shedeurian hat. Really? So when a black quarterback has a massive fan base, it's a cult. These people tell on themselves every day. So let's get into it. I hope y'all having a good weekend. I just couldn't believe that, right? To basically be saying we're a damn cult. I really did appreciate that because I felt like they're trying to discount Shedeur Sanders' talents by saying it's a cult. But we're going to get into it. But I know what the hell is a cult. I know what the hell is a cult. And on Monday, the unredacted Epstein files will be provided to Congress. They need to be provided to the public like the redacted files. But the unredacted files will be provided to Congress on Monday. Conveniently, a day after the bowl coming up, which, by the way, people are pointing out has no buzz. I thought it was just me. I said, well, maybe they figured out that I'm not a fan, right? I'm not a fan of people in the Epstein files. So maybe that's why they get the marketing. They like to track your marketing, your purchasing habits and what you're interested in. I thought it was just me. But the conversation on X, people are laughing because they're like, man, just no buzz. I'm like, yeah, because people don't want to be associated with that, right? People going to jail for being on the Epstein file list. Why would we want to support that? And one thing, what did we learn about the NFL owners when we were talking about Shedeur after the draft, after the horrible slide? We're going to talk about Coach Prime's comments today about Shedeur's draft slide and his future in the NFL. What did we say? We found some research. We found some receipts that said the owners, all 32 of them, are incestuously close. Now, I was listening. I told you I was going to find that video with Ryan Garcia. We're going to talk about that. Now, I'm probably going to have to go into more details in the members live stream. But the things that Ryan Garcia talked about, he talked about before the Epstein files came out, and he's correct. And he actually goes into detail about why the blackmail actually exists. And it kind of speaks into kind of things that I've said, but why the owners are so incestuously close, right? And I even said, when people keep tabs on you like that, when y'all have to walk in lockstep with one another, it's so they can see what you're doing. You know what they say, keep your enemies close. So if I pretend like we all incestuously close and we all have to do the same thing, that's to prevent you from doing something different. That's to prevent you from telling. Because if I got something on one of y'all, I got something on all of y'all. It's called leverage. And Ryan Garcia talks about that. And I've been putting the videos together. So After this live stream, I will go drop my members video. And shout out to the new member I just started. We have Kiara. Welcome. So let's get into it. Shout out to Ryan Garcia. We're going to touch on that just a little bit more because I told you, I'm like, wait a minute. I know Ryan Garcia. Didn't he come up to Colorado? He did. I found the video. We're going to talk about it. We shall talk about it. All right. So first and foremost, this is kind of a preview of what we're talking about today. There's absolutely no buzz for the bowl on Sunday. Fine. Not a big deal. Coach Prime was there doing interviews. I have some of that. We want to talk about that. And, Shedeur is doing interviews. And if you notice, I put on here 20 million plus followers strong, right? And they ain't their feelings about that. But one of the things that came up, somebody told me about it, and I went and looked. Shout out to people in the comments. They caught the fourth suspect. So suspect number 4 is now in custody. And to my surprise, I thought they caught him somewhere else. They caught him in the same area where they caught the other ones, in the city of Decatur in Georgia, which is described as a dense urban suburb. 24,000 people. And they found him there, and they found some things in the house, some firearms and some rugs, but none of Shedeur stuff. But the fourth is in custody nonetheless. He has been captured, and eventually they will be extradited back to Cleveland. I'm sure there'll be a trial. Hopefully we'll hear about it. Because we want to see if they plead guilty, if they take a plea with no trial, or if they plead guilty and want to go to trial, or if they plead not guilty. So now that all 4 are in custody, and it says that it was definitely an eventful capture. Population of Decatur, Georgia is 24,000 people approximately. It's located in DeKalb County, and it says the search for the fourth suspect accused of burglarizing the home of Cleveland Browns Shedeur Sanders. Let me make sure I can share this with y'all so y'all can see what it is that I'm reading from, so y'all can kind of follow along. All right, there you go. So y'all can kind of see. And some of y'all are audio, so I'll just read it out loud. It said, the search for the fourth suspect accused of burglarizing the home of Cleveland Browns quarterback Shedeur Sanders has ended. It said DeKalb County Police announced Friday that 20-year-old Carlos Morris, 20, I thought he was like 28, the last one. I thought they said the last one was the oldest one. So they're saying this guy is 20-year-old Carlos Morris is now in custody after investigators located him at an apartment complex in Decatur. It said the arrest involved the department's game unit, SWAT team, aerial support, which helicopters and drones possibly, and K9 units. So it looks like it was a spectacle. Everybody came out. And now they said he's 20, but I really thought they said this guy was about 28. I thought he was the oldest of the bunch, had already served 12 years. So he can't be 20. That must be a typo, because this guy supposedly had the longest rap sheet, the closest previous criminal history relative to the crime they were committing at Sanders' home. And he was supposed to be about 28 after serving 12 years. So I don't think he's 20 and served 12 years nowhere. So that just must be a typo. But anyway, they got the fourth guy. Carlos Morris. And they caught him right there where they caught the other 3. So he must have been like, had never left the house since December. Because the other 3 were caught at 3 random traffic stops. So maybe after he realized that they were all getting caught with traffic stops, he just didn't leave the house. And apparently there were 5 people in the home at the time. So maybe he was just staying in the house and people were running errands and stuff for him. And that's why they couldn't find him, because he was locked inside the house. Now, there was a pet on the premises. They said the pet looked malnourished, so they brought in animal control. So I don't know, they had a dog or something and they didn't take care of it. So he got a count. In addition to the burglary, he has animal cruelty as well tacked on. So the fourth, all 4 are in custody. So whoever told me about that earlier, shout out to you. I did. You told me go check. So I went to check, and facts, and the facts checked out. So fourth in custody. So next we expect to hear that they'll be extradited back. I was kind of disappointed that they didn't find Shedeur stuff, because I figured somebody got it, right? I figured somebody got it, because they got the first guy, they caught him 10 days after it happened, right? And it takes a long time to fix that stuff. So to be interested if they get to trial. I'm sure if they extradite them back to Ohio, there might be a trial, or they just gonna take a plea and go to jail in Ohio. I'm assuming. If y'all have any law enforcement knowledge, feel free to let us know. But they have all 4 guys, but Shedeur stuff didn't turn up. So Yeah, I don't know. That's just a little interesting. So that's that on that. All right, so let's move on to our next topic. I see y'all piling in. I appreciate you. 121, hit the like button. There's 121 of us, and I need about 80 new subs to hit 7,000. So let's see if some of y'all hanging out over there in the background. Not only can y'all hit the like button, hype me up when you see the button, subscribe so I can hit this 7,000 before I come back from vacation. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. All right, all right. So next on the list, let's see what we want to get to next. So if you're just not joining us, they caught the fourth suspect. So we expect to hear something about extradition. And when I say fourth suspect, I mean in the robbery of Shedeur Sanders' home. All right, so nobody else is on the loose. And the dog was malnourished. We don't never want to hear that. All right. So we talked about that. There's no buzz for the bowl on Sunday. Y'all know I'm boycotting. I'm not watching that. Coach Prime was there, you know, doing the interviews. Now, I forgot that Coach Prime actually went to the Super Bowl and won it with the San Francisco 49ers. And I'm like, oh, okay, I guess I'll allow it. Because personally, I didn't want them there. I didn't want them nowhere near. I didn't. I didn't want them anywhere near the Super Bowl because what did we say? They disrespectful toward the Sanders family, not just because they kicked Shiloh out. And Coach Prime is so funny. He was on First Take, and he was talking about it was a tough year for the Sanders men, right? And well, Sanders period, because he was talking about, you know, some of the girls and some of the stuff they were going through. But he said, you know, Shiloh got kicked out. He said, but he did go down swinging. I was like, now that's hilarious. So, you know, I didn't want them there, but Coach Prime used the opportunity to celebrate his former Super Bowl. And then he made the rounds on the different interviews. I think he was on Rich Eisen, and then I think he was on First Take. And, you know, he was talking about how they treated Shedeur in the draft. He clearly didn't appreciate that. I'm gonna tell you something. Between the Pro Bowl and leading up to this situation on Sunday, I'm very happy to hear the Sanders calling things out, right? Like Shedeur said when Shiloh made the joke when they were live on Twitch about, you know, after I guess the AFC lost, and Shiloh was like, "Yeah, plans change when you think you're gonna get 100,000 and you only get 50,000." And remember, Shedeur said, plans change when you think you're going to get 40 mil. Yeah, and you don't get that 40 mil. I appreciate that. That's calling it out. That's calling it out, right? Because see, the last thing that needs to happen, we don't need to keep no secrets around here about being done wrong. That's what needs to happen. See, the problem is, it's too many secrets. It's too many secrets. See, that's the problem. It's too many secrets. So shout out to the people who are calling it out. But shout out to, you know, Shedeur for letting us hear. He wasn't happy about planning for 40 mil. These people say they're going to draft him. He meeting with them over and over and over countless times to the point where they know him well. And they just up and decide, oh, we want to get Dylan. There is no professional football area where you go from Shedeur to Dylan. None. And that's exactly what the Heisman stage did, right? But then no money really came with that, right? But this is your livelihood, right? These people pretended, and then they just cut you like bait, like you irrelevant, like you don't matter. And then when you get over there, they kick on you like you're not even human. They dehumanized this young man, right? So shout out to Shedeur for that. And then we're going to listen to Coach Prime. I don't know if I can listen to Coach Prime. I think I have a little bit of what he talked about, why it is he don't want to coach in the NFL, and the reasons have changed. And I'm happy to hear him talk about that, right? You know, he was talking about how Bucky, you know, doing his thing. And I listened to Bucky talk about, you know, him playing his role, whatever. So while I didn't want them there, while I didn't want them at the Super Bowl, and they haven't gotten to Sunday yet, I am happy that Coach Prime is able to revel in his memories of when things were well, when he was in San Francisco, because the game is in San Francisco. So I was like, I guess I'll allow that. And then I was happy to hear him on First Take talk about, you know, after what they did to my son, right? And I have another snippet from a different interview that I am able to share. So we're gonna hop into that. So shout out to Shedeur for calling out the one Steiny guy, the one night with Steiny guy. I'm really shocked by that. I was like, did you just do this so you could go viral? Like, that was just hella disrespectful. So we're gonna get into that, right? These people trying to play in these people's face, right? So I'm so glad they calling it out, right? But I still don't want them at the game, but I don't have nothing to do with that. So let's get into you know me, I just cut you off. I'm just saying. I'm just saying, like a pair of scissors is a string. I'm gonna just cut you off. But you know, and I thought about it. I said, you know, I forgot they have endorsements too. So they do have some business obligations that they have to have. But despite the business, they are sharing their thoughts, and I appreciate that. As a fan, I appreciate that, right? Just like we appreciated CeeDee Lamb when he stood up for himself, right? When he was getting drafted, right? Sitting there on the couch, and then the young lady picks up his phone thinking he occupied, he won't never notice, and he, without a flinch, just takes his phone back like, hey, respect my privacy. He a legend for that, right? So speaking up for yourself is a good thing. And I'm happy to hear the Sanders speaking up for themselves with emotion, and you know, letting people know they don't appreciate the things that have been taking place, and the timing is perfect, right? Because not much buzz around anything else. So I'm happy for that. All right, so there's a clip that I have from, is it Eric Dickerson, Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson? He has some more things he wanted to share. So let's take a listen. It kind of ties right into what we're talking about, right? Just take a listen. All right, here we go.
I don't see why they chose that, but the NFL does stuff, you know,
Right.
that baffles your mind. So they'll do anything for money, and you know, I thank God I had a chance to play in the National Football League, you know, do things I did, play with my family. But
Right.
as an entity, the NFL is one of the most corrupt organizations it is. I mean, it's like so many great coaches out there, black coaches that can't get jobs, but yet you have black players. The NFL is 80% black.
Right.
We can't coach. We can call the defenses, but we can't coach. We don't know how to coach. We can call the offense. We don't know how to coach.
Yeah.
That makes no sense. I don't see why.
So basically, he's talking about how the black coaches can't get jobs, right? And he's pointing out how the NFL is 80% black, right? He said, so we can play, but we can't get jobs as coaches. We can play defense, but we can't coach defense. We can play offense, but we can't coach offense. And that's correct. That's just correct, right? So he's calling the NFL out as corrupt. He said, as an entity, it's one of the most corrupt entities out there. Let's see if I can hear that part just one more time.
So they'll do anything for money, and you know, I thank God I had a chance to play in the National Football League, and you know, do things I did, play with my family. But as an entity, the NFL is one of the most corrupt organizations it is.
All right, so you heard it. As an entity, the NFL is one of the most corrupt entities there is. Yeah. That's what it's given. And this just kind of ties right in, you know, with the Epstein files, right? It just kind of ties in. I heard some more names, like Leonardo DiCaprio's name came up. I still don't hear anybody talking about the 9 NFL team owners plus Peyton Manning that's on the list. I don't hear it. And conveniently, the unredacted files are coming out on Monday. What's Sunday? Monday, right? So, yeah, you know, and when you think about the Epstein files, you know, how they have the little line that says they didn't want no N-words there. They didn't want no N-words around on the island. Thank God, right? Thank God. You know, that just basically ties into what Eric Dickerson is saying, right? Like, we could play for you, but you know, you don't want no N-words as coaches. You know, you don't want no N-words as offensive coordinators, and just only the talent that's getting CTE on the field. Yeah, that's it. And that's what he means by it's one of the most corrupt entities. Now I noticed the little the game sign was behind him. So he has the courage to say this while standing on their premises for the game. So that means he means it, right? And as a former player and as a Hall of Famer, it's nice to hear Eric Dickerson calling it out. And when you tie that in with what we're going to listen to Coach Prime say, him calling it out, this is what needs to happen. This is the beginning of victory. This is the beginning of victory for the players, because see, here's what people don't understand, right? The more you stay quiet, the more you deflect and you don't want to call it out, the worse it's going to be for the people coming behind you. See, your job is to make sure the drawbridge is well and intact for the people that look like you coming behind you. But instead, you want to keep a secret and you want them to get punched in the face by the truth when they arrive. No, that's betrayal. Because you out here making it look good on camera and they want to come and join you, but you're not telling them the truth. You're not telling them how corrupt it is. And since they had a chance to see for themselves, based on what happened to Shedeur in the draft and in Cleveland, they don't want to come out of school. And people mad because they don't want to come out of school. Who wants to put up with this type of corruption? And when you say, he said the NFL is corrupt, understand that he's talking about the teams, right? The 32 teams that make up the NFL itself. He's not talking about what used to be a nonprofit. No, he's not talking about that. He's talking about the way they conduct business. That's what he's talking about. And what we saw in the draft was an abhorrent way to conduct business. And what we learned about the Browns, after, they promoted Stefanski after he abused this young man, after he dehumanized, Shedeur. And when you think about today, about some of the things that were happening today, like there was a photo that was put out, right, with trying to humiliate the former President Barack Obama and his wife, Michelle Obama, by portraying them in a photo as apes and monkeys, right? Now understand this. See, if you don't understand what's going on, you might buy into that. Understand that was to deflect from the unredacted files that are coming out on Monday. That was to be a dog whistle. Because, racism was always used as a dog whistle. Come vote for me because I don't like Black people, right? But that could be further from the truth, right? President Trump used to date Tamron Hall, So, I mean, he don't dislike Black women, right? But using a racist dog whistle when it counts, right? And then President Trump was the one that put out the text message or whatever it was during the draft. And the next thing you know, Shedeur gets drafted, even though they tried to push him off somewhere else. And Shedeur stood firm on his principles. Y'all was gonna draft me, so I'm coming over there with y'all. And then they tried to abuse him because he had the audacity to do that. But who put out that tweet, right? Who put out that tweet and then they responded and they drafted him? See, people act like they don't know that's how Shedeur got drafted. I don't know why that's a secret. I don't know why that's a secret, right? But what we saw today was a racist dog whistle, right? What we saw when Shedeur was getting drafted was a flex. That was I'm in charge. That's all that was. It could have been Shedeur. It could have been Raggedy Andy. It wouldn't have mattered who the hell it was. It was a flex. Because if you know anything about history, the current president tried to buy a NFL team and they refused him. So he saw an opportunity. It doesn't matter who it was about. He saw an opportunity to prove that he's in charge, even though y'all denied me. That's all it was. That's just all it was. Just like today, all it was, oh shit, I'm in trouble. Deflect. That's it. And hate Black people. Now remember, everybody already know that they trying to force Black people out into the street. They want us to be upset about things so they can lock us up and harm us, right? We're not doing that, right? We're not doing that. For one, we voted, so we're not doing it, okay? And secondly, that's not going to work. See, the Epstein files are already out there. And it's reported that Trump's name is in there 38,000 times. And there are people like, Jesus' name was only in the Bible like 9,000 or 9,000 times. And then Harry Potter, the book Harry Potter was only mentioned 19,000 times. And Trump is in the Epstein files 38,000 times. Deflection. A flex and now deflection. I'm not even offended by it because I understand you trying to deflect. You trying to distract. Must be something in there. It's the whole lot that's already in there anyway. Before we get to the unredacted part, he mentioned in there 38,000 times that we haven't even gotten to the unredacted part that's coming out Monday. The gig is up. No amount of calling Black people apes and monkeys is going to save you. I'm not even offended by that because when you understand that this is just like that meme with Dave Chappelle sitting down and then he throw the water on the table and get up and run out. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. And I love people, spending the day celebrating the Obamas. I'm one. If you check out my stories, they all over the stories, because it's wrong to do it, but understand it is to deflect. Just like canceling PBS. And how do I know this? I know they canceled PBS. I also know why. Because they were talking about the Epstein file. They were talking about Epstein Island and what goes on. You know why they call Ryan Garcia crazy? I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell you. So anyway, let's get on. That was everything. So everything is going to tie back to the Epstein files. Every single thing. Now, Shedeur Sanders was pushed down in the draft, and people like, that probably don't have nothing to do with the Epstein files, does it? Well, I mean, it is highly possible, that yeah, it could. It could, right? And why could it, right? Why could it? It could because one of the things you have learned if you paid attention to the Epstein files and everything that's going on with that is how they like to hide in plain sight, how they like to put the symbols of their pedophilia in plain sight, right? Now, what do we know about Shedeur and Coach Prime? They don't drink. They don't drink. They don't smoke. You're not going to just come up to them and invite them to a party. They're going to go. In fact, somebody said you could hear them when they were after the Pro Bowl. Somebody was inviting them to a party and they was like, no, we straight, right? See, they're not easy to get to lure. They're not the people. They're not the people that are going to be convinced, the people that are going to be used, the people that are going to go along, the people that are going to be unsuspecting. See, these are the people they don't want, right? These are the people they don't want because they are believers in Christ. They carry themselves that way. That's why they robbed Shedeur house, because they couldn't find nothing. So they were looking for something. And eventually, if they can't find it, they're just going to make it up. So understand, it's not a coincidence that certain people gravitate towards Coach Prime. It's not a coincidence. So when I say they like to hide things in plain sight, one of the things they talked about was Ellen DeGeneres, right? Her name is in it because apparently there's connection. And I never realized it myself, but the set of her show, had this blue and white striped building with the palm trees. Well, that's the exact look of the Epstein Temple on Epstein Island, which has been sold to someone else. So they don't even want to call it that no more. It's called Little St. James. And it was in the Virgin Islands of all places. So that's what I mean by hiding in plain sight. There's certain things people are now looking at and they can see, where they had a connection to this person. And they're like, damn, this was right in your face the whole time. Okay. So what is this picture on my screen, right? If you watch my stories the other day, you saw me post a photo of CeeDee Lamb. You saw me post a photo of Shedeur Sanders, Justin Jefferson, and Jalen Hurts. And all these are very nice looking young men. I mean, just very nice looking young men. And from what I know about Jalen Hurts, he's no nonsense. What I know about Shedeur Sanders, he's no nonsense. I don't know CeeDee Lamb. I don't know Justin Jefferson, but I don't get the impression. I've never heard anything about them. And from what I saw CeeDee Lamb on draft day, he's no nonsense. I don't think Justin Jefferson is no nonsense from what I have read about him. Right. So all these young men are great at what they do. They are very handsome, just very handsome nephews, right? Very, very handsome nephews. And they all were positioned like some other people in front of a sign that says Abercrombie and Fitch. Okay. If you do not know that the ex-CEO of Abercrombie and Fitch is on house arrest, after decades of trafficking and abusing young men, models, boys, grown men, by rugging them, right? Because they had to overpower them, so they get rugged, right? So I'm looking at this at the Pro Bowl, and I'm like, what the hell is happening here, right? On what earth is this happening in plain sight? Because that's what they do. It's in plain sight. Then you can't say you didn't know. Oops, you should have known, right? So I caution these young men to be very, very careful about what it is that they're being put with, what it is that's being put around them. Because let's not forget, 9 NFL team owners, including Peyton Manning, are on the Epstein list. What else have we learned about the NFL owners? They are incestuously close. They do everything together. It ain't just 9. It's just the 9 you know about. Some people think it's only 4. Still haven't seen Peyton Manning. Still haven't seen Peyton Manning, right? Just like it's not a coincidence that on every team that disparaged, shunned, tried to humiliate, devalued, pushed away Shedeur Sanders, the man's name pops up, including Peyton Manning. Yeah, especially where Anthony Richardson is, especially where Shedeur is now. Yeah. So understand this, right? Be very careful. because they do like to hide in plain sight. Remember Twitch? Remember Twitch that used to be on the Ellen Show? Remember him? So understand this, right? These young men are greatness. The DNA makes them great, and a lot of people are intimidated by it. You know, I listen to how they have TikToks and they do skits talking about how oh, we're going to play an all-black high school, and they're like, you know, they're gonna beat us. So like it's kind of like a known thing that the athleticism of the black athlete is dominant, and it's gonna be hard for you to beat it if you're not black, right? Right? That's not new, right? And that makes a lot of people insecure. Now we also know that, you know, black quarterbacks get a raw deal. They are just hated on all day. But you know, then they celebrate people like Stephon Diggs, right? You know, the whole pink powder thing, and then they'll take him away from CJ Stroud, who's black, and put him with Drake May, who's the white quarterback. And look, if they in the bowl on Sunday, right? So black quarterbacks get a raw deal, and Shedeur Sanders is a black quarterback coming in at a time where there are people that clearly feel like they are too many, right? And at the same time, he's coming into the league as a young man that doesn't drink, that doesn't smoke, that's confident. His father was already in the league. They probably couldn't convince him to do nothing he didn't want to do. He's also coming in at a time where the truth is coming out. The truth is coming out about the Epstein files and how they like to hide in plain sight, and how they like to recruit, and how they use the pageants and dance moms and Abercrombie and Fitch and Victoria's Secrets and the what's on the wall, the NFL, right? So while we haven't heard anybody talk about the NFL part other than the owners, you know, I think it's interesting that of the people on the Epstein file list that are associated with the NFL, I think it's particularly interesting, you know, now that we know the owners do everything together, that the majority of the people on the list are the owners, not players. Says a lot. It does. It really says a lot, right? It says that these guys don't really get into those kind of things. And for the guys like Peyton Manning that's on it, we don't know how he got there, right? Was it because of one of the owners? I mean, we have no idea, right? Geno Smith name popped up. Geno Smith and Peyton Manning are the only players that made the list that are in the files. Yeah. So see, I knew when they were talking about the Epstein files and they kept saying the girls, I said, nah, I don't think it's just girls. I think it's boys, but we haven't heard about it yet. And that's where Abercrombie and Fitch come in at. That's where the males come from. So you got Abercrombie and Fitch that were accused of enabling their CEO and his partner, which is a man, for trafficking males, including the employees, and rugging them and abusing them for decades. And it's right there on the wall at the NFL. Really? And I bet most of these players don't even know about that. And I bet if they knew, they would be upset, just like the New York Giants. Players say they're going to hold out if that part owner of the Giants isn't pushed out. But are you going to push out the other 9, the other 8 owners? You see, it's not just one person. What did Eric Dickerson say? As an entity. And why might he be right? Because it's documented. They do everything together. They vacation together. They buy their yachts together. They do everything together. That's why it's 9. That's why the majority of the people associated with the NFL on the list are not agents, are not players. They're owners. The owners are incestuously close. So even if you did do it, you knew about it. And then who allowed Abercrombie and Fitch, not known for trafficking girls, but known for trafficking males, boys, young boys, men? What is the NFL? An organization made up of men, which is 80% Black. And they do not respect them because they don't want them to be quarterbacks. They don't want them to be GMs. They don't want them to be coaches. They look at them as labor. I wonder what they thought of the victims on Epstein Island as some kind of labor, a commodity, something to just be used and abused. And you put this as your sponsor in the Pro Bowl, and I'm looking at CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Jalen Hurts, Shedeur Sanders, all unaware and very unsuspecting young men. Rejection is protection. But they unfollowed Jay-Z. So, let's take a look at and all of this ties together. So you just it's gonna keep coming back because the philosophy, the way they conduct business, it ties in to the way that they were conducting their pedophilia on Epstein Island. Yeah. They all were incestuously close so they could keep tabs on one another. Yeah. Rejection is protection. It was, it is, and it always will be. All right, so let's take a listen to what we have up next. You already heard Eric Dickerson. If you're just not joining us, hit the rewind button. You want to listen. So let's take a listen to Shedeur, who's being interviewed by somebody who I think either just wanted to go viral or is hella disrespectful. Just take a listen, right? Now, Shedeur is a black quarterback, right? So just kind of listen to how this is being framed to him. And I appreciate him for standing up for himself and for his fan base, right? And I can tell the Sanders are starting to get annoyed with these people. So let's just kind of take a listen. And it's also why I don't even want them there. This is one of the reasons why I don't even want them there. So let's take a listen. This show was one night or something like. Right. Yeah, because it's not a cult, right? So shout out to Shedeur Sanders. So, maybe y'all give this guy a pass. You think you want to give him a pass when he called it a cult? He said something about worshiping a large group of people worship. I'm like, no. It's not a cult. So do y'all want to give him a pass? I'm going to read the definition of cult, meaning are you giving him a pass because he's ignorant to what a cult really is. Now, mind you, somebody read the very definition of cult. Let's just go back. What is a cult? Let's listen to what they said it was. And I'm going to read to you what it actually is. It's not a good thing. Number one, it's not a good thing. And I don't know how it is. They just don't refer to Shedeur Sanders fans as fans. Why is why does it have to be a cult? Why is it easy just to say it's fans? Right? You need to have a definition of cult on that. Let's just listen. Because I think it's very interesting. When it comes to a black quarterback, it has to be a cult. Worships. So he's never seen a celebrity before. Is he not a celebrity? You see what I mean? He's never seen what has he never seen before? Because if he's been around football players before, you trying to tell me you never saw a bunch of people run up to get an autograph? And if you are part of this podcast community and you have any type of access to Hollywood or California, you've never seen people just run up to people, even on TV, reality shows where celebrities walking down the street. You've never seen this before. So what have you never seen before? What have you never seen before? How are you in a podcast space and you've never seen a group of people come up to somebody that's famous? So you said it, the Sanders family has people come up to them because they're famous. What have you never seen before? Have you never seen a black QB with a large fan base? Have you never seen a black family with a large fan base? Is that what it is? What have you never seen? And I'm glad Shedeur got stern. I'm glad he got firm with it. I don't like the use of the word cult. And then listen to this. Okay, that's not a cult. Let me tell you what a cult is. Okay, it's on the screen. I'm going to read to you what a cult is, just so you can know. Right, a cult is a cohesive, often secretive social group characterized by an authoritarian figure. So there has to be a leader of the cult, right? David Koresh, if you know anything about the documentary that happened down in Waco, Texas, he was the authoritarian figure, right? Extreme devotion. The guy used the word worship. We are not devoted. We are fans of greatness, and that's what they are. And I don't know what it is he's never seen before. It's that devotion to a charismatic leader. Who the leader? Is it Coach Prime or is it Shedeur? Is it Shiloh? I guess it depends on who you ask. The definition of cult does not fit the context of this conversation. Shedeur's fan base is not a cult. And I don't know what he's never seen before. He's never seen a celebrity with fans that want an autograph or want to say hi. Like, well, help me understand. It's like he don't understand why they have fans. That's what it's giving. I mean, when you think about it, I've never seen it before. What the hell have you never seen? This is why I didn't want them nowhere near the Super Bowl. And I'm not saying this has anything to do with the Super Bowl, but it probably does. He probably is in town for the Super Bowl. And I know he's interviewed Shiloh before. I think Shiloh did a podcast, which means you think he will be more respectful. This is what I mean by I want them to start restricting access to their energy, to who they are, because this is ridiculous. That's not like y'all want to give him a pass. But when you think about it, what has he never seen before? Does he not respect them as celebrities? Does he not know that Shiloh and Shedeur have been on TV since they was 4 and 5? Does he not understand that Shedeur Sanders sold the most jerseys as a rookie, 250 million, which is over 2 million people, because of his greatness at the quarterback position? Does he not get that? Does he not get that Coach Prime is Deion Sanders? What has he never seen before? That's not what a cult is. So he's incorrect. The host, the interviewer, and the person that thinks he knows. That's not what a cult is. But see, he kind of knew what a cult was, the interviewer, because did you not hear the word worship come out? And when Shedeur started pushing back, that's when he was kind of like, well, no, I just say you have a large fan base. You could have started with that. You should have started with that. What the hell are you trying to start? Why are you being messy? You gonna really sit there and talk to Shedeur like that and try to make it seem like his fan base is problematic when he just dealt with that in Cleveland? So you want to be like the toxic media in Cleveland. That's what you bucking for. Oh, okay. Well, just let us know so we can come at you because I added him. I said, first of all, you got it wrong, buddy. Get it right. And I provided the definition of a cult. It's not anything positive. And nobody's worshiping anybody. It's like he can't understand why it is that they are celebrities, that they have fans, that people like them. What the hell has he never seen before? Let me know your thoughts. So that's that. I put the definition of cult on the screen. If y'all want to read what it is, it's up there. Just rewind and go back. But it's not anything positive. Cult has a negative connotation because it is a negative thing that involves manipulation of people with an authoritarian leader manipulating them. We're not being manipulated by anybody. And nobody should have to tell this young man why it is Shedeur is, one, a celebrity, two, a cultural icon, and three, has sold over 2 million jerseys. No, nobody should have to tell him that. Because that means you didn't, when you sit down and interview anybody, you need to do your homework. You need to do your research. And when he used the word worship, he thought he knew what he was talking about. So Shedeur pushed back. So it proves that if Shedeur and them don't push back, they just going to try to run straight over them. Who wants to deal with this in the off season? You know what I mean? That's exactly what I mean. All right, so that's that on that. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. I see y'all piling in. Hit the like button for me. Over 200 people hit the like button. I need 80, about 80, 85 subs to get to 7,000. Please let this episode be the one that get me to 7,000 before my vacation ends. I've been working on my vacation. Show the girls some love. Trying to get to 7,000 so we can celebrate. Think I earned it. Think I deserved it. All right, so hit the like button, please, and don't forget to subscribe. All right, let's keep it pushing. I appreciate Shedeur for standing up and was like, I don't like the word code. He handled himself well, probably better than I would have, because I would have dropped the mic and got up and left. Because I don't like being played with, right? I don't like being played with. All right, so let's move on to something more positive. Shout out to Myles Garrett. So Myles Garrett made the rounds for his Defensive Player of the Year award, his second one. And he was on the Jimmy Kimmel show. I saw him over there. Then he was being interviewed. But guess what he did? He flashed the perfect timing. Myles Garrett is not backing down on who Shedeur is. Now, I know y'all know that, just in case you don't, Jim Schwartz, the defensive coordinator, who Myles Garrett seems to like, resigned from the Browns. They thought they was going to talk him down off the ledge and get him to come back after they betrayed him. And I know he didn't expect to be betrayed. See, Schwartz thought the only person getting betrayed in Cleveland was Shedeur. But now it's Shedeur and Schwartz. Schwartz was never going to be the guy. They played in his face like they played in Shedeur's, knowing all along what it was they were going to do. They thought maybe with some time he would cool off and come back. He came back. He sure did, with his resignation. And they're like, well, I mean, if he want to be a head coach, you know, he's almost 60. Didn't Todd Monken just turn 60? So why did he like talking bad about Schwartz? Because he want to move on and not be played in his face. See how they do when you don't fall for their BS? See what happened when you push back? You was already betrayed, but you was just supposed to stay there and take it. But when you want to speak up, you crazy, or your fan base is cold, or you old and you should have stayed here because nobody else gonna want to hire you. That itself is a goddamn manipulation. You know who a cult is? All right. Okay. It's not Shedeur Sanders fan base. That's facts. And if you don't know why Shedeur Sanders is a celebrity or Shiloh Sanders is a celebrity, then you're not worthy to interview them. You only likely got where you are because of your last name. Yeah. Yep. All right. So let's take a look here at Myles Garrett, who was proud to flex perfect timing to celebrate his Defensive Player of the Year in his interview. So this is Myles Garrett. Yay! So Myles Garrett letting y'all know when I come back from the season, Shedeur Sanders is the guy. Shedeur Sanders is the quarterback. See, I respect people that have the courage to stand on what they believe. Myles Garrett, although undeterred, although only Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders got speeding tickets, although only Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders apparently got robbed in Cleveland by two different groups of people, Myles Garrett is still undeterred. Even though they slowed him down and didn't want him to get all those sacks on Brock Purdy, Myles Garrett still got his Defensive Player of the Year and said he knew he was going to get it. He said, oh, I knew it was going to happen. Myles Garrett is not afraid of these people. He's not afraid to have courage. He's not straddling the fence, right? He's not straddling the fence because the Browns refused to commit to Shedeur. Myles Garrett, in celebrating his achievement, is still committed to Shedeur Sanders, even though the Browns aren't. But what did Eric Dickerson say? They corrupt. So who's surprised? We weren't surprised when only Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders got speeding tickets. We were surprised to hear that Myles Garrett got robbed too and not anybody else. So put together the two speeding tickets, put together only Myles and Shedeur got robbed. Seems kind of too Too perfect, right? Seems too well put together. So how did you arrange these speeding tickets to kind of like retaliate against him? How did you arrange these robberies to retaliate against him? Which I'll just run around, in your phone, you got a group of robbers. Hey, I need you to hit up Shedeur. I need you to hit up Miles Garrett. Don't rob nobody else. Really? I mean, just that pattern alone is worth exploring, right? Just that one pattern alone, that only Miles and Shedeur got tickets and their houses robbed. Mm-mm-mm. And none of this happened until after Miles Garrett spoke up for Shedeur. So since he celebrated his Defensive Player of the Year, by letting you know Shedeur is who we expect it to be, and his boss just quit, and he still don't care. Let's see what happened next, because they love to retaliate. Just that pattern alone is worth exploring. All right, so shout out to Miles Garrett. Y'all know I like Miles Garrett, so if I see his jersey, I'm gonna get it. I'm wearing CeeDee Lamb. Y'all don't see me wearing a lot of people's jerseys. Secretly, I want Shedeur to get the hell away from Cleveland and go play in Dallas. I know one is probably just as bad as the other. But if I got to pick and choose, and if Shedeur want to stay there, I'm gonna support him, right? I'm not questioning that. I didn't say he needed to quit. I said I don't want him at the Super Bowl because Abercrombie and Fitch, Disney, the 9 owners on the list, and they all close. Just a little worried. He's a little handsome, he's a little handsome. They want to make sure nothing happen because they love unsuspecting people. So that's what it is. Let's keep it pushing. Let's keep it pushing. Let me know. I don't think anybody else was up for Defensive Player of the Year that we even knew about. So shout out to Miles Garrett for winning. Yeah, shout out to Miles Garrett for winning. All right, let's see what else we got. Let's see what else we got on the list. Deion Sanders shuts down the rumors that he's going to the NFL, and he says this because Shedeur's draft slide. He didn't appreciate it. So I'm not mad at Coach Prime for saying that. Let me see if I have the clip that I can share with y'all, because it's one particular clip where he was talking about it that I could share with y'all. But I think this is it right here. And Coach Prime actually put out his word of the day that I thought was pretty good too. But yeah, Coach Prime said he really didn't care for how Shedeur was treated in the draft. So he really has no intentions on wanting to coach there. Let's see if I can pull it up. Because I know that when he was on First Take, I was like, First Take is copyrighted. So you got to be careful with that. Especially when you calling folks out. You got to be careful with that. All right, we'll just use this one. I think this is a story. I could just share it. It's not a video. I'll just share it right here. I can share this. It said the reason he didn't want to be in there is because of what happened to his son. I think this is it right here. I don't know. They're talking about something else. It is. Okay. It is on it's still on First Take. So I'm just gonna tell you what it say. I'll put the link in the chat. It's still on First Take. No matter where it came from, people just took it from there. And he said, now it said Deion Sanders, not whatsoever. What transpired with my son last year in the draft ain't no way in the world. So they asked him, is there anything that would get you to jump to the NFL? Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, not whatsoever. What transpired with my son last year ain't no way in the world. So I'm going to take this and share it with y'all because First Take is copyrighted and I don't want to get into that. And that way y'all can go check it out just in case, you haven't watched it already. And I'll just share that with y'all. We'll do it that way. Gotta play it safe. Gotta play it safe. And we're gonna move on to our next topic. Let's see here. All right. So Coach Prime said, no, ain't happening. Oh, it's on X, but another person on Colorado Buffalo's Wire, they put a link to it. So you could just check out the link from there. Let's see if I can copy it. Okay, I copied the link, so I just put it in the chat. So when y'all see me post the link, that's what it is, okay? I don't want y'all to think it's some weird link, but that's to Coach Prime. All right, so Coach Prime said it ain't happening. Now, there are people that believe, even though Coach Prime said he's not going nowhere, they still going to try to run the same game they've been running, saying that Coach Prime not staying at Colorado, he going to the NFL. Now, I want y'all to know something. We thought maybe that Coach Prime would end up in Cleveland, right? So what are the implications for Coach Prime to come out and say there is absolutely nothing you can do that would make me want to go to the NFL after what they did to my son? Now, I want you to think about something. Does that mean he don't expect things to get better where Shedeur is concerned? Like, does he not expect things to improve? Right? Because you would think he would say, if things improve where Shedeur is concerned, if he's treated fairly. But no, he said, based on what happened to his son in the draft, there is nothing that could make him want to go to the NFL after that. And Shedeur is still in the league. So how do y'all feel about that? Like, that's like a stamp of finality. Like, Shedeur could go to the Super Bowl and he wouldn't change his mind, or things could get better, then maybe he don't expect them to. And he still wouldn't change his mind. And he was going to say some other things, but he pointed out, he said, he stopped and he said, okay, I'm pausing because that's Jesus. Like, look, you can't say that. You're still a coach in college, so you're going to have to watch what you say. So he wanted to say more, but he said no, not whatsoever, because of what they did to my son in the draft. And he said it with emphasis. Like, he is not changing his mind no matter what. How y'all feel about that? Let me know. So when we get to the comments, I know what you're talking about. But I'm curious, how do y'all feel about that, knowing Shedeur is still in the league? Maybe things could take a turn for the better, but he still say he out. There's nothing he want to do in the NFL. Let me know your thoughts. I think that's interesting. All right. So next up, Coach Prime is in San Francisco reflecting on his football and baseball career. Did he play for a baseball team in San Francisco? It said, this city has always been dear to me because it birthed me my first Super Bowl and it validated me. I was blessed to play with Barry Bonds. Oh, that's what it means. It's not a baseball. It's Barry Bonds. Wait a minute. Is that baseball? Let me know. I think that's baseball. It said it's the travesty of what y'all are doing to him. Ooh, Coach Prime calling people out everywhere. Let's take a listen to this. I think BB is Barry Bonds, but I thought it was baseball. Then again, this could be both. Barry Bonds played baseball, right? Coach Prime says it's a travesty for what y'all doing to him. So y'all gonna have to educate me because I'm not into baseball. But it seems like Coach Prime is just calling people out all over the place. I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. I'm just shocked. I'm shocked, really, because normally I don't feel like they do this. And it seemed like Shedeur and Coach Prime calling folks out. That's why I say I think they feel like, they like, look, we sick of the BS. So they just calling it out. Let me know if y'all think that's new from them. All right. Let's take a listen.
City's always been dear to me because it birthed me my first Super Bowl and validated me, like put a stamp on me. So to all my teammates, man, I love y'all, appreciate y'all, because definitely couldn't have done it without y'all. Y'all was like that. I played football in this city and I played baseball in this city. And I was blessed to play with the greatest baseball player to ever lace him up. And that was Barry Bonds. Still to this day, it's a travesty what y'all are doing to him. He had 3 MVPs before you even accused him of anything. That's unbelievable. This city's always been dear to me because it birthed me my first Super Bowl and validated me, like put a stamp on me.
So, okay. 2 questions. Shout out to y'all for the comments already coming in about Barry Bonds. It said, who was that? Said what about Coach Prime? Who was that? It said Debo said Deion Sanders, he played in the World Series. Deion is the only man on earth to have played in both a Super Bowl and a World Series. Now, my mind went straight back to that little interviewer talking to Shedeur and saying the Sanders family, y'all have, people. This man is the only man on earth to play in what? Played in both a Super Bowl and a World Series, and you shocked that people come up to their family like that. Really? So Coach Prime is calling it out. It's a shame that what they doing to y'all, to him, what they doing to Barry Bonds. He said before they investigated what's happening. So I'm gonna need to know. So again, Coach Prime is just calling things out. Just calling things out. And he even remembered he's still a coach at Colorado. And he calling things out. He calling it out about Barry Bonds. He calling it about in the draft with Shedeur. I mean, I'm for one and proud. Because one of the things that we always liked about Coach Prime is he wasn't afraid of no smoke. I mean, that's what made him prime time, right? He was never afraid of the smoke, of whatever it was. And then to sit here and read that he's the only man on earth to have played in both a Super Bowl and a World Series, I don't know why anybody would be shocked that they have a strong fan base. I mean, that's just the dad. And then Shedeur is a phenomenal athlete, right? And Shiloh, hard-hitting safety in college, they all good. See, these leagues love DNA, right? But until it's theirs, it seems to be a problem. Hell, I wish that maybe they would have just go play baseball instead of football. But people will be calling them out for that. I think people don't like them because of their greatness. And they're confident about their greatness. And they're not in the streets, right? They carry themselves well. They carry themselves like greatness. And I think that's what bothers people, right? And I think every opportunity people get, they try to play in their face. And what I think we're seeing is Shedeur push back. We're seeing Coach Prime, push back. Shout out to them, right? So thank y'all for starting to let me know, but I'll be over there in the comments in a minute. Shout out to Coach Prime. Now, when he said that this is validated me, the Super Bowl, I often think about Coach Prime playing for Atlanta. And it just baffles me how they didn't retire his jersey. When in Atlanta, you can't go far without running into a Prime jersey. And I know that one Atlanta Falcons game I went to before they benched Michael Penix Jr. In year one. On the columns in the arena, which has to be Mercedes-Benz. I'm pretty sure it was still Mercedes-Benz. I know it said Coach Prime, Deion Sanders Prime House. I think I took pictures of walking with people, taking people with the 21 jersey on and stuff like that. When I went to Julian Lewis's high school championship game, the high school Georgia championship, and Julian Lewis was playing his last high school game, there were people in Mercedes-Benz at that game with the 21 Sanders jersey on. And do you know why? Because Julian had committed to Colorado. I had on my Colorado jersey, the 21. Yeah. I was talking about the Falcons jersey. I had Shiloh's Colorado jersey. But yeah, people had on Travis Hunter's jersey, right? So it just amazes me that his jersey is not retired in Atlanta. I mean, I'm not shocked that they didn't win a Super Bowl because I heard about the whole coaching staff and stuff like that. And Brett Favre was there and he left and went on to be great in Green Bay. But, stealing from the welfare people, it's disgraced his legacy. But is he in the Hall of Fame? Is he considered for that? Coach Prime said only Hall of Famers should vote who should be in the Hall of Fame. He said that this weekend. I totally agree with that. The reporters should not be voting for that. What the hell have they done? What have you earned to decide who gets the MVP, who goes into the Hall of Fame? What the hell have you done? Nothing. You didn't even go to journalism school to be able to vote on who is in the Hall of Fame. What you have to do with that? So I agree with Coach Prime. And the reason why I think they use the media is because they can manipulate the media. Now, who's the cult now? Right? So shout out to Coach Prime for sharing that. This weekend, again, I will allow him being there, even though I don't want them around these people. And y'all know why. So, it's nice that Coach Prime is using the platform, using the opportunity to call things out, because he know it might be it after this one. It might not be no more invites after this one. So he taking a chance to get it all out. And he don't care if there's another invite or not. Because I was like, why they going to that? I really didn't want them to go. I was like, they too good. They too good of people, and that's why they got to be careful. That's why they got to be careful. I mean, robbing Shedeur house, they didn't do that for nothing. Cleaning out his nightstands, they was looking for something. Only Miles, Garrett, and Shedeur being robbed. Come on now. Let's just be honest, right? And they probably caught the fourth person this weekend trying to, distract from other things. Just saying. It's kind of convenient. All other kind of distractions are happening, so why wouldn't that be the same thing? All right, so let's see what we got next on our list. Somebody put a link to Barry Bonds versus Coach Prime, the 1992 slam dunk contest. It said Deion was really good. The truth of the matter is Deion Sanders could out jump me in a heartbeat. Oh, okay. Check out the link that I put in the comments. Y'all can check that out. That's actually really good. I'm gonna share that link too. I wonder if I can share that one. Yeah, let me share that one. Yep, let me share that one too, because I didn't know. It was the 1992 slam dunk contest. That's basketball, right? Yeah, I'm assuming they talking about basketball. Slam dunk. Must have been an all-star game or something like that. So y'all can go look at that. Look into that further. Shout out to Jackie for Jackie the Truth or Jackie the Truth, something like that. That's nice. Okay. All right. So talking about Bucky, getting personal, supporting his brothers. Let's take a listen. I can't tell you I listened to this one, but I say
the people I'm working with together. Just playing my role, bro, and I'm being a star in my role, and like just being comfortable with who I am, and just really truly loving the people around me, the people I'm working with, and just being a star in your role. You're not envying anybody else. It's not like I want to be this, I want to be that. Oh, that should be me in front of the camera. It's like, no, you got to be great at what you do. Mm-hmm. Everybody just got to be comfortable with themselves and know who they are, and then you just got to be there for one another. Yeah. We always around each other. We do everything together. Yeah. We don't only work together. We be out of town together. We vacation together. We fight together. We fight against each other also, but that strengthens it also. Yeah. I've accepted a long time ago, like the life I live is like not a life of my own. Like I live like for everybody around me. So like I really don't even care about me. But as you get older, when different things like are gone or taken away, you like, dang, I should have cherished that more. Just playing my role, bro, and I'm being a star in my role, and like just being comfortable with who I am, and just really truly loving the people around me, the people I'm working with, and just being a star in your role. You're not envying anybody else. It's not like I want to be this, I want to be that. Oh, that should be me in front of the camera. It's like, no, you got to be great at what you do.
So basically, he's saying he playing a role. The hand he was, given, and he's not envying anybody. Meaning he doesn't envy any of his brothers. He's not saying, that should be me. And I'm sure people wonder about that, right? Because he did play ball. I actually have a picture with his SMU uniform with D. Sanders on the back, I think it said. And he wore the number 2. It seemed like he wore 2. Coach Pryor wore 2, I think, at Florida State. And then Shedeur wore the number 2. It looked like Shiloh always might have wore like a 21 or something else. I don't know if he ever wore the 2. But, he should be comfortable with the role he plays, because I'm pretty sure I saw one of those Nike shoes that said well off on the back. And I actually have a clip of him revealing the new Colorado cleats and the Deion shoe. It's nice. It's nice. He said Coach Prime hadn't even seen it yet. It's real nice. And, I think people marvel at how at ease the Sanders brothers are with each other. Given Shiloh, lost his place or got kicked out the NFL unjustly. And, Bucky doesn't play football anymore. That Shedeur is the last one. And Shedeur said it, I'm the last one. The dad's not hating on his kids because his time has come and he's moved on into other things. Coach Prime has transcended football. And I actually believe that Shiloh has. And honestly, I feel like Shedeur is actually bigger than the quarterback role that he has, whether he's QB1 or not. People gravitate towards Shedeur, and he don't even stream like that, right? But he's really good at what he does, right? He's and they seem like really good people from what I could see, and nobody has said they're not, right? I remember when they were at Colorado, I felt like it was their last year, and people were talking about how when they were on the sidelines, like they just felt like they had an air about them when they walk around. Like, not that this my daddy's team, It's just something like they Hollywood. That was the term somebody used. I'm like, they celebrities. They've always been celebrities. Since, I mean, when you on this show, you know, that the one show that they had in the really big house that they had with their mom and their dad, then they moved on to the dad's other show. From what where I came into the fold was when Shedeur was in high school, and Overtime had a segment following him. And I remember when he got his driver's license. I don't know if he was 15 or 16. And he got a Ford F-150 truck, and in the headrest was a number 2 in red or something like that. And the outside of the truck was like a dark blue or something. And he was in high school. So I started watching then, and they went to the state championships like what, 2 or 3 times? I think 3 times, right? And then during the pandemic, they followed them when they were still playing football. And Coach Prime, they had to go play other schools like in Mississippi and in other states because not everybody was still playing. And it's funny how they actually went all the way to Mississippi to play a high school in Mississippi, not knowing in a few years you're gonna be at Jackson, Mississippi, playing in Jackson State. That's just crazy to me, right? It's like they got a introduction to Mississippi unexpectedly, but you end up going there for college. And Shedeur was talking about Jackson State and how special that time was. Yeah, because look at how things happen in Colorado. They weren't hated on like that. Nothing is perfect, like absolutely nothing, right? But Shedeur going to Jackson State and being surrounded by, you know, a lot of Black people and not being hated on and not having to deal with racism, it's kind of like a lot of people who believe that Atlanta is the Mecca. It's the same thing. You're around your people, they doing well, everybody working on getting to the next level, or in case of living in Atlanta, enjoying life in college, getting to the next level, getting a degree. It's a feeling you can't describe because it don't happen all the time. You know, where can we get that all the time? So I'm actually happy that they had the opportunity, which is why when Coach Prime left, I don't think Shiloh wanted to leave. I think Shiloh wanted to stay, right? And people thought it was because he had a girlfriend. No, and he wanted to stay. And people don't realize it. Their high school that they went to, from what I could see, it was like the high school I went, well, not the high school, but it was like when I lived in New Orleans, everybody was Black. Your teacher's Black, your classmates, you're very comfortable in your own skin, right? So leaving that cocoon and going, whether it's high school and then going to college at Jackson State and getting it on that level, and then going to Colorado and they booting your goddamn Rolls Royce every other week, and they setting you up and they letting you get hit and sacked. That never happened at Jackson State. Was it perfect? No. But racism is hard to deal with, especially when it's constant and it's intended to break you down, right? And it was intended to hurt his body physically and his mind mentally, and it was intended to carry over to the NFL, and it did. And it still is, right? So the off season is probably where he gets his peace. This is why I said, don't be talking to these people. Restrict your access to these people because they just want to play in your face, calling your fan base a cult, using the word worship. How about respect? How about people respect them? They don't worship them. They respect them. They couldn't even bring themselves to say it. It's people like that. I don't have time for them. Just cut them off like they're a string. So, you know, that's just what it is. All right, let's see what else we have. So we had a chance to hear from Bucky that he's comfortable in his skin. I know people are shocked by that. They would expect he would be jealous, but the Sanders, they don't really act like that. They kind of really never kind of really see that. Right? All right, so now y'all get to see the new cleat that Bucky is showing us for Colorado. All right, hold on one second. So y'all get to see that. All right, here we go. It's cute. I had to look at it, zoom in, so I made the photo large so y'all could kind of see it. Oh, apparently I'm already sharing it. Oh, here it is right here. Okay, this is Bucky. I hope y'all can see it. I made it large so y'all can see it. Okay, we're gonna start from the beginning. Now, there might be music playing in the background, so I might have to mute it, but go ahead.
My dad hasn't seen these yet.
All right, so he's showing them the shoe. It has the Is that the baseball type shoe? Did y'all see it with the CU on the back? Let's see. There it is right there. The CU on the back. I hope it's not blurry. That's it right there. The CU. That's the cleat they're gonna play in. So let me ask y'all a question, right? That's like a baseball shoe, right? That's not a football shoe, is it? Because they can't play football in that, can they? Can they play football? That's not a football shoe. That's a baseball shoe, right? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. Because it looks too high topish to be a football cleat. Because I don't know if that's gonna work. It says the black and gold diamond turf cleats with the Colorado logo on the back. Well, maybe that's for public consumption. Because I don't know how you can play football in that. That might not be a football shoe. I like it. It's cute, but I don't know if that's for football or if it's just something that they make to sell and Colorado fans can go and buy it and fans of Deion Sanders and Coach Prime can buy it. That's what I'm thinking. What do y'all think? Let me know your thoughts because that's not a football shoe, right? That's too high around the ankle. So I don't know how that would work. I'm just curious. Let me know. Okay. Is that the last one? That might be the last one that I have. I'll be talking about basketball because James Harden is now a Cleveland Cavalier, and they sent Darius Garland somewhere else. I don't know, but Donovan Mitchell said he probably gonna win a championship now or something like that. So I want to see because James Harden is actually a good basketball player. Now, I will tell you, I hate what happens in the playoffs. He seems to disappear. But I haven't watched him play lately. Maybe he kind of got over that. They even said he went to therapy for that. He used to shoot like 60 points at a time, lights out during the regular season. But when he got to the postseason and the playoff season, I don't know if it was some kind of pressure thing he couldn't deal with, some kind of anxiety, performance anxiety for sports. It just never fixed itself. But I love Donovan Mitchell, Spider Mitchell. I love him, love his fiance. Well, can't wait to see them get married. He says as soon as he win a championship, he gonna marry her. So he must, they dating, right? Just like Jalen Hurts and his fiance was together. And after he won the Super Bowl, they got married. So they, so they could stay focused on their craft before they get married, which is very smart, very, very smart. They play 82 games a year. So, let me get this out the way first. Let me get this achievement and then we can get married. So I'm probably going to be talking about the Cavaliers because I want to see if James Harden can add to that in the regular season for them to get to the playoffs. And I pray if they get to the playoffs, he show up. That's all. I just pray because I even think, I don't know if he went to the New York Nets when Kevin Durant was up there. If he was, I think he disappeared. But I could be wrong about that. But did James Harden go to the Nets for a little bit when Kevin Durant was up there with Brooklyn Nets? Let me know. Because if not, I must be talking about somebody else. And I know Kyrie Irving would not do that. Durant took the ball and it was toward the end of the game. And he was doing all the scoring and he passed the ball, who I thought was James Harden. And in no way it was Kyrie Irving. And I know it was James Harden. And he gave the ball back to Durant. Durant had to do it all by himself. It was sad. Let me know if I'm right, though. Let me know if I'm right about that. So, fingers crossed, I'm going to be talking about the Cavaliers. And I'm hoping they come. I already checked. I don't even think they come back to Atlanta this season. Because that's the game that I will be at. So, if y'all are Cavaliers fans, y'all keep me posted and let me know. But I'm going to be talking about that. All right. So, shout out to James Harden for going to Cleveland. Just hope everything goes well. So, all right. Is that the last one? I think that's it. Oh, there was this one clip. I will share this with y'all. I just thought it was good. Cam Newton is in rare company with Steve McNair. So let me share this with y'all. And then I'm going to head over to the comments because I thought this was good. I think Cam was a phenomenal quarterback. And I think the Panthers did him dirty. Y'all already know how I feel about that. So let me share this with y'all. All right. Just like they said, Shedeur Sanders is one of the few HBCU quarterbacks to go to the Pro Bowl in his first year. It was just him and Steve McNair. Here is another first where Steve McNair is concerned or something like that. It said quarterbacks to win both the Heisman and an NFL MVP. It looks like 2010 for the Heisman for Cam Newton, and 2015 for the MVP. So 5 years after coming into the league, Cam Newton, after he won the Heisman, he won the MVP. And let's see, Steve is that Steve? No, that's Lamar Jackson. Why I said this was Steve McNair? That's Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson won the Heisman in 2016 and won the MVP in 2018. Okay, with the Ravens. So let me just remind y'all, both these quarterbacks have done dirty, right? So when we talk about Shedeur, it's not new, right? Lamar Jackson won the Heisman, but was pushed down and rescued by Isaac Newsom because he was about to slide to the second round. But he was drafted last. His counterparts, I feel like Josh Allen was one of the people in his class that came out at the same time in the same draft. And you see how they keep putting Josh Allen over Lamar. Lamar won the Heisman that year. So it's like they disregarded his Heisman, and they disregarded the fact that when he got drafted in 2018, he was a unanimous MVP after that. Unanimous MVP, which made the GM, who I thought was with the Indianapolis Colts, who trashed him and said he was too short to be a quarterback. They did not want Lamar Jackson to be a quarterback with the same fervor they did not want Shedeur to be a quarterback. The only thing I can see about those two is they both have the ability to change the game. And they both are in a cycle where their QB skills are being stifled to be left in the pocket behind negligent O-lines. And Lamar's coach from 23 to 25 was Todd Monken. And now he's over there where Shedeur currently is to do the same thing. Monken prides himself on keeping Lamar in the pocket. Lamar got hurt twice because they kept trying to keep him in the pocket. Once his O-lineman stepped on his ankle. Friendly fire, just like Shedeur with the nail. The second time was he was in the pocket. They wanted him to run around and make nothing happen. He got popped in the back. Just like we saw with Shedeur. It's the same thing. And here come Monken to do it all over again. So Lamar Jackson and Cam Newton are in rare company with the Heisman and the MVP. So shout out to those guys because it still stands. They both being done dirty. Okay, so I'm headed over to the comments. I think we talked about everything on our board today. We talked about why there's no buzz for the bowl because I thought it was just me because I saw nothing. Shedeur Sanders fans, the Sanders fans, to say it's a cult is disrespectful. We're talking 20 million plus fans, right? These are fans, just like everybody else has fans. They're fans. And then they caught the fourth guy that was missing from the robbery, which happened back in November. They caught him in DeKalb County in Decatur. So that, that's that on that. So let me head over to the comments because I want to see what y'all are going to say. And, Shedeur and Coach Prime has some really good interviews, and we capped that off. So if you're just not joining us, go back and take a look at that. All right, so I'm headed over to see what it is that y'all are saying. Hit the like button for me, please. All right, so going back to the top. All right, I'm just going to the top of the comments. Yep, taking a minute to get there. All right, thank you. All right, Ramon, how you doing? The fly show on the planet. Thank you for holding it down while I'm on vacation. I appreciate it. Still not watching. I'm not watching that bowl either. Welcome, Kiara, y'all. We have a new member. Welcome, Kiara. Turn your notifications on because I do have a members video that could easily turn into a members live stream to drop. So I don't want you to miss it. But we got about 38 members videos for you to go catch up on. So if you like the binge watch, get going. But welcome. Thank you for becoming a member. Hey, Miss Pamela, how you doing? Hey, Peter. Hey, Sharon. Hey, Sage. Welcome back. Hey, Lady D. Welcome. The Sanders family love you guys. Facts. It said it's go time. Welcome back, Kane. Hey, Tina, welcome back. It said repeat after me. That's facts, bruh. That's facts. That is facts. They know exactly what they're doing. Absolutely. It's amazing how they continue to try to characterize us. Right. Right. Like, just mind your business. Mind your business. I can't stand Steiny or whoever his name is. He was being shady to Shiloh too. Oh, really? So he did interview Shiloh, but you're saying he was being shady to Shiloh? Like, why? Like, is this? Are they telling? Is this like something that he's telling them? Okay, I'm gonna ask y'all stuff that's gonna make you upset. Like, cause that's crazy. Cause he wouldn't get no interviews from me. But nobody's trying to interview me, so let me shut up. Just saying, like, enough is enough, right? So thank you for that. But I do think his name is like Steiny or something like that. And I don't even know where he came from. Probably nepotism, if I had to guess. This is exactly what I had to guess. Hey Val, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Welcome back. It said, good evening, Queen. It said, yeah, Coach struck a nerve with Shedeur. Yeah, absolutely, right? Like, call this man fan base a cult. Like, are you tripping, bro? Like, seriously? And then he even used the word worship. So I'm like, so you really think you know what you're talking about? So it's not a coincidence. You're not ignorant. You know a cult is people who worship other people, but that's what you're trying to say his fan base is? That would be the last interview he would get. That would be it. And you know what? He probably got where he is off of his last name. I don't even know who he related to, but it's probably somebody. Like, that's ridiculous. That's disrespectful, right? That was hella disrespectful. And I know sometimes these podcasters say things to try to get under people's skin for ratings and views and all of that, but nah, you got the wrong one. You got the wrong one. Yeah, that was suspect. Yep, they got number 4. They sure did. They got suspect number 4. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hey, Crowley, how you doing? It said checking in from Maryland. We are getting a cold front coming in on Saturday, -5 degrees and very windy. Ooh, okay. Well, you stay warm because -5 degrees. Wow. Okay. It said Shedeur said they are not a cult. They like family, and we are. Right. I can't believe he would say that. Like, that's just so disrespectful. And I knew he interviewed Shiloh before. I wasn't sure, but I didn't see. I don't know if I knew how it went. I thought it went okay. Maybe I didn't watch the whole thing. So disrespectful. It's funny how people think they can just disrespect you like that. Like, what are they really thinking? Right? Coach Prime don't duck no smoke, right? Shedeur don't even duck no smoke. Maybe they feel like because it's a interview setting, Shedeur not gonna pop off on him or whatever. But Shedeur got firm with him, and I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did. And whoever came up with the definition of cult don't even know what the hell they talking about. So I added Steiny or whoever the hell he is and told him to get it right. Like, that's the hella disrespectful, bro. Hey Tamika, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Good evening. Hey Anthony, welcome back. It said they changed the riches to badges. They did what? They changed the riches to badges? Oh, I still see a wrench. If you talking about the tools, I still see a wrench on my side looking at your profile, Amber. Unless you're talking about something else. It said Deion Sanders and Emmitt Smith. Yeah, that was that. They both, yeah, they was holding it down. You know what people were saying? People were like, y'all mad at Emmitt Smith because he was speaking up for Shedeur, but you don't have nothing to say about Tim Hasselbeck, which I didn't hear what he said, but it must have been dumb. And they put him in the same sentence with Rex Ryan. So I know what he said was ignorant. So, and it's funny how you got Eric Dickerson speaking up, you got Coach Prime speaking up, you got Emmitt Smith speaking up, and they mad because they must want them to be quiet. That's why the Steiny guy was asking questions like, what you gonna do? Like, really? Like, are you serious right now? You talking about how much of a massive fan base they have and you calling the worshipers, but you don't want to watch what you say as if somebody not gonna come for you and put you in your place. Really? Okay. Or is that what you want? You don't want this smoke. You don't want this smoke. It said, did y'all see CP and his sons have invited a limited number of people to stream with them on WhatsApp? No, no. And I love them, but I'm not watching that Sunday. Unless, does it have anything to do with the game or is it just something to do on Sunday? Let us know. Let us know what that's about. Because I'm not watching the game. I love them, but I'm not watching the game. It said that's a lot of po-po for one man. Yeah, and when they said they brought the canines, I'm like, you went to somebody's house. Why you need that? I don't know. I don't know. But the crazy part is, I've been over here saying, how many people live in Decatur? I'm like, Decatur's not that big. It's like, I told you, Atlanta is this big, right? So Decatur is half the size of that, if not a third. So very, very interesting situation. Very interesting situation. Very interesting situation. It said Coach Prime was sharp today. Yep. I'm glad he spoke up for Barry Bonds. He said, what y'all doing to him is terrible. I'm like, wait a minute, what they doing to Barry Bonds? But I ain't surprised at whatever it is. And it's see how it's just happening everywhere. And they just want you to just sit down and just deal with it. They don't want you to say nothing. That's crazy. One of the reasons the media in Cleveland is so toxic and in their feelings is because they don't want to be held accountable. That's really what it is. It's like nobody's supposed to check them. And clearly they must think these black athletes are not. And I don't know why they think they can tell the fans what to do. I don't even know in what world you think you can convince me of who Shedeur is. Just because you think certain people are dumb, they're not the ones. They're not the ones that are dumb. That's what gets me, right? I'm like, you don't even know black people like that. That you think that you think we dumb. So you say anything and you think, but you don't even know black people, right? You don't even know black people, right? So I don't know. I just think it's a weird situation where they feel like they own the airwaves. That's kind of what it gives. Like they own the podcast space. They feel like they own the sports conversation. It's 80% of black people playing sports, and you're shocked that a black woman is in an interview. Who gave her credentials? As if, and that's the part that gets me, right? The NFL is 80% black. And you in your feelings, because a black woman is at the interview with credentials. So what have y'all said to yourselves about the 80% of black people in the NFL that you don't think that they should have a microphone or somebody else with a journalism degree should have one? Help me understand that. I don't know what kind of conversations they be having in private, but based on what I've seen in the Epstein files, like, they're some demons. They just some demons. It said they also charged 5 other suspects at the apartment for obstruction, drugs, and guns that were at the house. Yeah, we saw it. There was 5 other people there, but it wasn't in connection with the robbery. I mean, I figured the other people that were there must be the people, since he been there so long, since November, or December. They must have been the ones going to get food and stuff, because I don't, that situation don't make no sense to me. Decatur's not that big. If you got the first 3 in Decatur, how did you not get the 4th one? So somebody must have told where they were. CP doubled down on what he won't, on why he won't coach. Right. And we were happy to hear that. We were happy to hear that. Remember, Coach Prime throw them hands too. Yep. That's what Coach Prime said about Shiloh. Well, he went down swinging. He went down swinging. That's for sure. Yep, that's for sure. And that other guy never had consequences at all. He wasn't even penalized. That's just a shame. The Sanders family are a brand. They are a brand. That is true. So it says Coach Prime, Shiloh, and Bucky posted on Instagram that they will have a group chat tomorrow on WhatsApp. Interesting. Okay. Shout out to Myles Garrett for putting his wrist up at the awards. Yes, I really enjoyed to see that. Shedeur said he was not going to be in San Francisco on Sunday. Thank you, Amber. Thank you. So maybe they were just part of the media part or something like that. So he's not going to be there. He shouldn't be there. He should not be there. Hell, I was going to text his mama and be like, have you seen this? I was really trying to think of what to say, like from mother to mother. I don't think this is a good thing. So shout out to you, Amber, for sharing, because I sure was planning. It's probably in draft mode. Tomorrow is Shedeur's birthday. Yay! So he's going to celebrate his birthday. Awesome. When is Shiloh's birthday? Aren't they close together? The mom, Shedeur and Shiloh, aren't their birthdays all together? Something like that? Let me know. Hey, real life. Shout out to Eric Dickinson. Yes, for having the courage. Shelby Harris spoke positive, as always, on yesterday about Shedeur Sanders, and Myles put the wrist up. Yep. I saw Shelby Harris' interview, but it was copyrighted, so I didn't share it. But he was saying how people, was speaking about Shedeur. They were incorrect. He's just a young man, like everybody else or whatever. But another Cleveland Brown player speaking up. And that's what's going to have to happen, right? These players can't be afraid to speak up, right? You can't, for one, what they going to do? Bench all of y'all? Really? They're not going to bench all of y'all. They're not going to cut all of y'all. So, and I know they put those voids in their contracts. You do know what a lawyer is, right? You do know retaliation is illegal. You do know intimidation is illegal. Y'all just going to have to stand up together, because if not, you're going to be stuck in a cycle with them bringing in the Mendozas and the Dylan Gabriels and the Tyler Shaws, check down kings, and you're just going to be wasting your time like you did last year, right? And that means they don't respect you. They don't respect all this hard work where they make you, go out there and work for it, but then it don't matter because you just want to lose the season, or you want to rig it for Tyler Shaw to get over. Next year, you want to rig it for Mendoza. Hell, they probably having these conversations as we speak. Well, we're going to let the Saints get it this year, and then we're going to let the Raiders get it. Yeah, that's how they think. What did Eric Dickerson say? They corrupt. Did he lie? No. What else do we know? The owners are incestuously close. So it's not one, it's all. That's what you have to understand. It's definitely more than 9. It's definitely more than 9. So understand that. Brian Flores, Thomas Brown, Eric Bieniemy, Byron Leftwich, Steve Wilkes, Anthony Weaver, Barrett, and T. Martin. T. Martin is the guy, the black guy they fired. Did they fire him from the Baltimore Ravens, or did they move him to another team? From what I could see, there was a black gentleman in Arizona who I thought had the same job as T. Martin in Baltimore. They swapped them around. Anything to disrupt Lamar. Anything to disrupt Shedeur. Anything. Well, people just need to decide, understand what they're doing. This is all the starting quarterbacks. This is so they don't get to 17. This is so they don't get to 17 to 32. That's what it is. It's that Emmitt Smith pointed out they're using Shedeur to make money. He's right, though. He's right. That's why that's why I said I don't want them there. Because I'm like, for one, they don't respect them. 2, it's just for likes and clicks, right? And they get a kick out of that. And one of the things you can't do with these people is let them feel like they have something that you want. That's called leverage. You can never. You can never give them leverage. Anybody that puts Abercrombie and Fitch on the wall with Disney streaming it, where there are a bunch of young men around, is bold as hell. You have got to be out of your rabbit mind. And you know what they thinking? What you gonna do about it? See, that's how it starts. That's how it starts. Like, absolutely not. That's disgusting. It said they wanted. What you say? They wanted what? Oh, thank you, Debo. I'm not sure what you're talking about, but okay, I think I know. It said, remember, the complexion for the protection remains in effect. Right. Accountability. That's what it is. It said Emmitt Smith called out the NFL about how they treated Shedeur Sanders. Right. And who was it? So you have, did Emmitt Smith call it out about the black coaches too, or was it just about Shedeur? You have Shelby Harris speaking up. You got Myles Garrett, who already spoke up, but he's standing steadfast. Remember, it's his moment, but he's speaking up about Shedeur. You have Eric Dickerson speaking up. You got Coach Prime speaking up. The rest of them need to speak up. The haters going to show up. Chris Carter going to show up, right? I was truly disappointed at Warren Moon. It's funny how he could see the racism and how they were treating Kyler Murray, but he couldn't see it when it came to Shedeur. I'm like, how you going to ridicule Shedeur and saying he needs to move different because he's a quarterback? You went to Canada to escape. What the hell they doing to Shedeur? And after it's all said and done, we have most of the black quarterbacks decided, I'm not coming out this year. And they talking about Trinidad Chambliss will probably go first round if he wasn't fighting coming out of school. I said he wasn't never going first round. They already had him in the 3rd round. They already trying to put Malik Willis over there with Shedeur. Somebody going to decide for themselves, not having it. Not having it. Not having it. Yep. They getting tired of it. That's what I said. People getting tired of it, right? They get tired of it. And this is the perfect time to be tired of it, right? Like when you see corruption in one area, right? You're talking about people listed with associated with pedophiles. I'm saying this, right? I think it was 2008 when the case first came to light, right? Anybody after that already knew what time it was. And it seemed like that just drew more people to him, right? And it just kind of seems to me that when you look at how they treat black people in the NFL, right? How, they trying to establish this Jim Crow system You know, even though the league is 80% black, but you somehow subservient. You can't have any of the leadership positions. You can't have any decision-making positions. You could be a defensive coach, but you can't even be an offensive coach or something like that. This is the perfect time to speak out. This is the perfect time to absolutely speak out. Because if you want this to exist, I don't care who owns it. Because at some point, ownership could really be changing hands right about now. Either this is where you go start your own, or if you want this to exist, you're gonna have to go to war behind it. Personally, this is perfect time to go start your own. I mean, you should have did that anyway. But I'm happy to see them speaking out. But if the owners are the same, what do you expect to change? Right? What do you expect to change? When they shun people like Shedeur and they take talent from black quarterbacks, or you know, whether it's a coach or whether it's a receiver. I don't want there to be no black quarterbacks. You know, I didn't want there to be no black offensive coordinators. Why would the 80% that's already there feel somehow appreciated? No, this is the perfect opportunity to stand out and call out the corruption, because you're seeing it in a different area. You're seeing it, you know, with pedophilia. Like, do you really want to be associated with that? Imagine if y'all went to work on Monday and when you got there, it was a big conference and they called y'all all in the conference and they wanted to share that the CEO and the entire tier of executives were all involved with a pedophilia ring. And they'll be back to work tomorrow, but we just wanted to let y'all know. Would you still work there? Now, if you broke and don't have no money, you're going to work there till you get your next check, right? But if you got money in the bank and you have options, what you going to do? You're like, I'm not saying him. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening this weekend. One of the reasons there probably is no buzz is because they don't want to bring attention to it, because it's like, let's just be quiet because, you know, they can't see us if we quiet. That's kind of what's happening. I didn't see any advertisements at all. Not one. Not one. Not one. Because I don't think they want to call attention to themselves because of the Epstein files. But they was crazy enough to only unfollow Jay-Z as if people can't read. What does that say? That you don't want to hire no black people in leadership and decision-making positions. You don't want no black quarterbacks. And you willing to throw a black person under the bus, in front of the bus. Not and protect the white people. What the hell? Even when they're talking about pedophilia. Like, at no point in their orbit do you matter as a black person, other than if the ship sinks, we're gonna throw you overboard first. That's it. So they should be speaking up. They all should be speaking up. The last thing you need to be quiet about is pedophilia, because you're gonna be surprised where it hit if you just quiet. Just understand that. And that's what they counting on. You don't keep these kind of secrets. These are not the kind of secrets that you keep. So shout out to the people who are speaking up. And for the people that straddling the fence, you're going to learn. You're going to learn, because you should learn from Jay-Z. It said, real talk. Emmitt Smith talk that real. Yep. It said Coach Prime called out the host of This Is Football with Kevin Clark this morning in his face. What'd he say? I don't think I saw that one. Yeah, it's a distraction. Of course he's a racist. I didn't say he wasn't. But the motive, right? He been racist. I don't even know why anybody's surprised by that. The motive for the action today was not, let me just be racist today. No, it's to deflect. It's to deflect from what's happening. It's also why PBS was canceled. I was like, why are we canceling PBS? Go Google it and put the Epstein files in there and see what come up. That's why. That's why. Anybody that had anything to do with any major broadcasting got shut down. So, yeah. Yes, Tamron Hall dated Donald Trump. Yes. There was voicemails. Back when there were answering machines, apparently. So, Kevin Clark was shook. What did he say? Because I don't think I saw that. Portraying 44 as animals is unacceptable. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. 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 Yeah, they speaking out. Ryan Clark was shook too. I blocked him. I blocked Ryan Clark today because I'm sick of his I think he wants Stephen A job. I think that's what he's doing. It's just like, It's half-stepping. You either gonna call it out or you not. See, I don't have patience for people that straddle the fence. He's straddling the fence is just my opinion, so I blocked him. I blocked him. I'm sorry. It said Deion Sanders changes the temperature. Yes, and that's why God put you there. That's why God put you there, to change the temperature. It said, yes, that is deflection. Also, I see why they added pictures of stars that were at events separate from the files. Yes, they did. They added, it's funny how they said they weren't doing anything else, but then they still adding stuff. And now on Monday, and I'm like, so why is it Congress gets the unredacted files? Why wouldn't you just give them to the public? The public done been unredacting the damn files anyway, because whoever redacted them did it in Word, and all you got to do is drop the document in Word and hit unselect with the black the highlight. But I think they knew that. I think they knew that. Somebody knew what they was doing. So yes, it said the gig is up. Definitely up. Definitely up. It said, yes, coach had that weirdo shook. I didn't see that. I'm going to have to go watch that. It said, Jimmy DeGree explained why Shedeur was colluded against. Yeah, not just Shedeur. That's what people, when we get to the point where we are talking about Shedeur and Lamar, when we talk about why it is Stephon Diggs was taken from C.J. Stroud and sent over to Drake May, and look at where Drake May is. When we talk about why it is the Washington Commanders offensive coordinator was just sent over to the Chargers where Justin Herbert is, but taken from Jaden Daniels. After Jaden Daniels and the whole entire Washington Commanders offense said they wanted that man to be on that. You see what they're doing? They playing musical chairs, just like they did with Shedeur and the assets that were valuable to him on the team. The resources that were valuable to Shedeur got what? Moved out the way. Same thing is happening. When we get to the point this season, we got to talk about how you didn't want no black coaches. You only fired black GMs. And now you're targeting black quarterbacks. Plural. It ain't just Shedeur. Shedeur just got 20 million fans. So it's time to talk about the whole shebang. It's time to talk about the bias and the racism against black people in the NFL. Not just coaches, not just GMs. The fact that nobody is talking about how only black GMs were fired is crazy. The fact that people not making the correlation to no black head coaches being hired. The fact that they aren't connecting the dots to how these black quarterbacks, plural, are being targeted. I think they know and don't want to make the connection because it's going to blow up. If it ain't blown up from the Epstein files, it ain't blowing up because you tell the truth about the racism. Actually, I don't know which one is the priority over there, but it seems like they willing to let they pedophile flag hang and fly, but they want to hide the racism. Why is that? Why is that? Why are you okay with putting the pedophilia out there, your connections, your associations? You're only unfollowing Jay-Z, so you threw him in front of the bus first. But all y'all was in on it, apparently. But he black, so you collateral damage. That's the message to anybody that's black. Y'all just collateral damage. We don't value you. We don't want you. Is that not the same message to Shedeur? So why is it's okay to act like that, but you want to hide your racism? You blame the firing of a black GM, because only black GMs were fired, on the fact that 3 years ago, he took paternity leave and you let Kirk Cousins off every Tuesday because that's what he wants. Why you want to hide? Why you want to hide the racism, but let the pedophilia associations and flag fly? Why is that? You don't value black people, so what you worried about? If you think all your fans are white, what you worried about? I mean, honestly, you think you just let the racist flag fly. But no, you want to hide it and package it up and make it look like this and that. You want to be quiet and don't talk about this, so hopefully nobody won't notice. And then you want to act big and bad about it, like what you going to do. But then the moment somebody call you out, you got something to say. You mad because people holding you accountable for abusing Shedeur. That's what's supposed to happen. I heard somebody in Cleveland say, yeah, Shedeur saying his fan base, this, that, and the other. I'm like, you could use that if you want to send Shedeur to another team. Or you can use that to dismiss him from the league, but he will be back with a better contract. because people not going to let that fly. So that's why you want him, and you know this, that's why you want him to be happy with being a backup, but you know he not. And you know we not. So make up your mind. It seems to me that they want to hide the racism so we can't see it. But they don't care what we think. But they willing to let that pedophilia flag fly. That's ignorant right there. Maybe they just want to have the males around so they can have a pipeline, because otherwise it don't make no sense. He also surrounded, what's that, Destiny? What we talking about? Oh, you talking about other things happening with the release of the files? Yeah, it's a lot happening. It's a lot happening. It said Coach Prime was like Alonzo from Training Day, putting cases on. Yep, facts. That is a good analogy. It said Emmitt Smith told the best about the Cleveland Browns and NFL. He's fed up too, what happened to Shedeur. His son may be entertaining the NFL draft this year. And you see, he still don't have no problem with speaking up. That's what I mean by having courage, right? Even though I know my son want to come over here, I'm still speaking up. I don't know. Hopefully they all, somebody, a consortium of folks behind the scenes are talking about having their own league, because it's past time. And again, this is the perfect time for accountability. This is the perfect time to start your own. Coach Prime has a football field. Y'all just go over there and play this one game and stream it. And let everybody stream it. And they're going to be shaking in their boots. Because when Travis went fishing with Coach Prime, they were shaking in their boots. Why? Why would they sign Travis on a Sunday just because he go fishing with Coach Prime? Because they know Coach Prime is influential. Yep. That's why. It said, plus the standards stick together. Yes, people absolutely love their line, love their bond. I said it. It said Shedeur and Shiloh are not in the, right, they're not in that. And I think that's why people don't like them. Cults are both religious and secular. Yeah, they can be, but they're not good. They're not good on any account. They can be. It said the standards are too squeaky clean for them folks. Right, which is motive for why Shedeur was robbed. The fact that they told us and everybody that Shedeur was robbed, and we heard nothing about Myles Garrett. Because if you would have heard that Myles Garrett was robbed and Shedeur was robbed, you would have been like, what? It's too much of a connection. Because then we would have said, well, wait a minute. Didn't only Myles Garrett and Shedeur Sanders get these speeding tickets in Strongsville? So, see, you would have instantly known something ain't right here. You would have known. That's why they didn't tell you. Yeah, they were looking for something on both of them. They sure were. They were looking for something on both of them. And that's just the reality, right? They were just looking for something on both of them to control them. So when you put Abercrombie and Fitch on the wall, right? After you rob my house and you put this on the wall and the Epstein files, and they in there, right? They in there. You can see the pipeline. You can see the pipeline from the pageants with the women. You can see the pipeline from the dance moms with the young girls. You can see the pipeline with the little baby pageants, with the little bitty kids, right? Remember the John Bonet young lady, the little girl? And then when you see the pipeline from Abercrombie and Fitch, that's the men, the boys. And then you see the pipeline with Victoria's Secrets. That could be both, but that's primarily young girls, models, female models. Abercrombie and Fitch was the male models. And then you throw in the NFL. How old are they when they come out of college? The same age as Victoria's Secret's models. The same age as Abercrombie and Fitch models. Yep. It's a pipeline, people. It's a pipeline. And streaming it on Disney with Abercrombie and Fitch, making everybody think it's cool, knowing the man is on house arrest and Abercrombie and Fitch was enabling this. Right? You wasn't supposed to make the connection to the pipelines. The NFL is a pipeline of young men. Just like Abercrombie and Fitch was a pipeline of young men. And they put that on the wall and they want to stream it on Disney. They released the Epstein files and told you that ESPN, which is owned by Disney, bought all of the NFL media. And I said, and why? Why would you do that? And now at the Pro Bowl, streamed on Disney, Abercrombie and Fitch The NFL with 9 owners plus Peyton Manning in the Epstein files. Hiding in plain sight. Rejection is protection because Shedeur is not like that. He's not going to want to go party and put himself in a position where they can rug him. He got to be careful of even the water he drank, that they don't squeeze something in with a syringe and he barely notices it. Ain't nobody at any time should he take anything. And it's not just him, from them. These are the same people that punctured Tyrod Taylor in the lung so he can't be QB1. That means you can't turn your back on them for 1 second. You can't trust them for 1 second. And now, because of the Epstein connection and wanting to put the Abercrombie Fitch out here and want to stream it on Disney, you ain't safe. You ain't safe. Right? Look at how, for all we know, getting Jerry Jeudy to do what he did was seeing how willing he was at doing what they asked. That could just be step 1. Right? Same thing. And I for life of me, can't understand why Jerry Jeudy kept sitting under Shedeur. It's obvious you don't like the man. It's obvious you was an out. So why do you keep sitting under him? To intimidate him. So they harassing you on the field. They harassing you off the field. I can't imagine him walking back into that locker room dealing with the same people, but they probably going to be right there. They want him to be intimidated. They might actually want him to quit. We don't know what the hell they really want, but we know they don't want him to be QB1. They don't want Lamar to get to the Super Bowl. They don't want Jalen Hurts to get back to the Super Bowl. They don't even want Pat Mahomes to go back. They don't want Jaden Daniels or CJ Stroud to repeat their rookie years. So they're making it difficult for these black quarterbacks. When people get to the point where they want to talk about all of it, then maybe. That's accountability. But you got to get there first. And the media not going to help you. So it's up to the fans. It's just up to the fans. It said praying for the successful men at the Super Bowl weekend. It said they are a target for male and female scammers. Yep, they got to be careful. They got to be careful. It said the Super Bowl and other large sporting events are some of the largest human trafficking hubs every year. Really? Well, there you go. There you go. The Sanders are very clean and well educated, not going to eat anything from these folks. Yeah, I'm glad Shedeur is like he is when it comes to food. I said he's a germaphobe. Good. See, certain things can protect you, right? Certain things about yourself, just like being stubborn, right? Like Travis Hunter, we talked about him being stubborn. I said being stubborn is actually a survival tactic, and it can actually work for you, especially when you're a young kid and people want to lure you places you're not going. Right? You're just not going. Just like Shedeur, I said he's a germaphobe. That's good because he probably not going to eat nothing. Now, you already know he'll drink behind his brother, right? But he ain't going to, even in public, like just nothing. And understand this, he has to actually, they all do. Everybody that I named, every last one of them, anybody that they want to move out the way, that's black. They all got to be careful. And for the people like Jerry Jeudy that's signing up for the package, the Judas package, that's leverage. You're giving them leverage when you cheat. So if they want to put you on a plane and fly you to an island, you're going to go. You right? Or you're going to risk it all. I mean, you already risked it all. You're going to lose it all. That's exactly what Kanye was talking about when he was talking about Jay-Z and Pusha T. He said this a long time ago. He said they have to do it. He said, because if they don't, they go into jail. So imagine you sign up for the Judas package, right? They got you. At any point in your career, they can pull your chain. So if I want you to go to Shedeur house and find some people to rob him, you're going to do it. Because just like Jay-Z and Pusha T, you did some things. They know about it. So they got you doing other things. What did I say? Do not ever let these people use you. And we didn't even know about the Epstein thing. Now, when you throw that into it, ain't no telling what you're going to have to do. Ain't no telling. So I'm going to get out of here because guess what? I have a members I have a members. I might turn it into a members live stream, but whoever comes, just come. It's late, but I might do it anyway, just because I already kind of put the stuff out there, and I'm sure people want to talk about it. So I think I'm gonna hop off of here and just start a members live stream. Even if it's 2 people, the members can go back and look at it later. Because I think it's important to get this out now before things happen, because it's definitely stuff happening every 24 hours. So if you're a member, turn your notifications on. I'm gonna hop off of here and I'm gonna hop back on to a members only live. Okay. All right. So thank y'all for hanging out. We'll be back tomorrow for everybody, probably at the same time, 10:35. I'm still on vacation for another couple of days. I appreciate y'all holding it down. I'll probably drop a video tomorrow, but I'm gonna say goodnight and I'm gonna hop on a members only live stream. All right, thank y'all so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with What She Said Sports. Stay up, stay up. See y'all later. Stay woke. I think that's the term. Stay woke. I see y'all later. Bye-bye.